Which were the best value selections on the defensive side of the football in the 2025 NFL Draft? We're going to break that down for you today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to issue a big thank you, shout out, and welcome to our everydayers. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins.
Joe, happy National Jordan Davis fifth-year option day to you here on the program.
Thank you. I'm excited to celebrate that. Good for Jordan. Getting that picked up. Almost $13 million. Hard number for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
2026 cap. Think he's going to play more than 35% of the snaps this year?
Oh, come on.
Did you think there was any chance I was not going to say that?
Yes, I do. I do think I think he plays more snaps this year. Okay. Some of the losses across the defensive front.
Yeah.
So I think the Eagles are ripe to get Jordan Davis a little bit more involved in year 4.
I'm excited to see it happen.
Yeah. That was top 15 pick when it was all the Eagles traded up for Jordan Davis, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, man. Trading up for D tackles, paying linebackers, drafting linebackers in the first round, paying running backs. What's going on?
Jurgens got the bag.
What's going on here? Next thing you know,
pay your players.
Safety. What's going on with these Eagles?
Howie would never.
He would.
They'd never pay a linebacker.
He would
never invest big in running back.
You know what's funny is like the reality is, especially when you have longevity at general manager, obviously teams take on different life cycles. And so like the decisions that you make would evolve based on where your team is at, but also like you do evolve as well on the job. Right. And when you get an opportunity to do that, well, looky here, you've seen a lot of changes with Howie Roseman, and it wasn't that long ago, Kyle, that the narrative with Howie Roseman is that Howie can't draft. He can't draft. And you give somebody an opportunity to learn and evolve, and boy, here we are.
Yeah. You do it long enough, you're going to do everything, right? Like the thing that's going to make sense is paying those guys that you didn't pay the last time around and all that.
There is an exception to that. Mickey Loomis is never going to trade back. I am convinced
how many
that will not happen.
Has it been in a row for Loomis now? Like
I think we're pushing. It's a lot.
Almost 30?
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Loomis trade up.
Here we are, sidebarring for 3 minutes into this thing. Google's going.
This draft was the first time in 13 years the Saints did not trade up in.
Wow. When you thought they would, like this, we were all saying, move up from 40, get to quarterback. They stayed right there and got Tyler Shipp.
So from April 23rd, so a week ago, this was before the draft, from Warren Sharp. Last time Mickey Loomis traded down in the NFL draft, the iPhone wasn't invented.
Oh, man.
He has not traded down once since 2007. In the time since 2007, he has 27 trade ups and 0 trade downs.
There wasn't an
Never
iPhone.
gonna do it. There was no iPhone last time the Saints traded down in the draft.
Good thing. Remember wasn't there like when the Browns won a game, there was like these coolers throughout Cleveland that had beer in them.
And they unlocked. They unlocked them when they won.
Let's hope there's nothing like that for Mickey Loomis because they're going to be there a while. Maybe so.
All right, you want to talk defensive value picks here now that we went down the rabbit hole of Jordan Davis fifth-year option turned into a Mickey Loomis rant session?
All right, we're not doing the things we promised the listeners we would do, which is talk about defensive value picks. So we're very sorry.
The good news is the first segment of today's show is just dedicated to one position group. It's the edge. And Joe, you said in the pre-show you had a lot to say about the edge class. So go ahead and be my guest. What's your value takeaways here with some of these picks?
I thought the NFL in general did a really good job of letting the board fall to them minus the Atlanta Falcons with this edge group. We talked about the strength of this position group with all the depth. I got to get my jabs in, Kyle Crabbs. I see you smirking over there. It was a deep group. It was a deep group. And I thought it was smart to take advantage of the depth. And hey, if you want to do something else with the pick, I get it, because if you want to get edge help, it can happen. And it did. I thought really throughout the first 4 rounds, you saw really, really good value selections throughout. So I'll give you some of my favorite value picks. And I know that you have a very scientific formula for getting to yours, but my sniff test tells me Donovan Ezeiruaku, round 2, pick 12 to the Cowboys, was tremendous value. If he went to the Bucs, with their first round pick, nobody would have batted an eye. They get him, kind of middle of the second round. I love Nic Scorton to Carolina, pick 2, round 2, pick 19, where, they go with the offensive playmaker in the top 10 and Tet McMillan. A lot of thought that they could go edge, and maybe you didn't love Tet in the top 10, but if you come back and get Nic Scorton in the second round, that's a heck of a pairing. I like that. I thought the Bills getting Landon Jackson, round 3, pick 8, was a good job of letting the board fall to them, getting a player that stylistically fits very, very well. And how about the Patriots? Round 5, pick 8, Braden Swinson? I think that's good value.
Yeah, what happened there?
No idea.
How did that happen?
No idea. I'm not even his biggest fan, but 3rd, 4th round felt right. 5th round feels like a steal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you called out a lot of the right names. From the value chart methodology that I do, I had a first round grade on Mike Green. They get him at 59 from a value perspective, where you're quantifying a player based off of what bucket they go into, and then the correlating pick value chart total that goes with that versus the pick value chart value of the pick that they use. Mike Green, huge value. I think you mentioned Nic Scorton, Ezeiruaku. I would even technically put Abdul Carter as my second ranked player going at 3. I'm sure that's an even better value for you, just based off if it was the methodology that I like to use. He was your top player, your number 1 overall player. The Jimmy Johnson charts got that at 3,000 points, right? Yeah. So to get that at number 3, that top of the draft, those are the most important, and that's a surplus value there for the Giants. Swinson, and then I had Baron Sorrell. I had a 3rd round grade on. He went to the Packers at 124. It's just another kind of day 3 value pick there. And then Gelati and Jackson in the early 3rd round. I had 2nd round grades on both of those guys as well.
Did you categorize Elijah Roberts as an interior guy or an edge?
Let's see.
He went round 5, pick 21 to the Tampa. That feels like a great value to me as well.
So I had a 4 on Elijah. So he is plus value. Of all of the players who went outside of the top 124, right? So Kyle Kennard down. Kennard, Q Robinson, Ingram Dawkins, Braden Swinson, Elijah Roberts, Colin Oliver, Tyler Barron, Ahmed Hassanain, Antoine Powell-Ryland, and Fatal Diggs. Roberts was the second best value of those players after Swinson.
What a good spot for him in Tampa. Honestly,
spot, right?
It's perfect to maximize that skill set.
We're going to get another dozen years out of a guy like we got with William Golston, who was just there forever.
You can see it,
right?
You can absolutely see it. So a lot of value on the edge, which I think was to be expected. And obviously the strength of this class, anyone would tell you, is the D-line. And I thought there's some good value at defensive tackle as well, which we will talk about here in just a moment. So folks.
I'm going to burn time out. Sorry. At least I got it. It was the play clock was running out. I called time.
Yeah, I got you.
I didn't do this on the offensive side of the ball, but I do have it set up right now. And I think it's interesting to look at kind of perceived reaches for me. In the first 2 days of the draft, the furthest discrepancy from where I had him in my rankings, so not from like a pick value chart perspective, Femi Oladejo, I had ranked 80th and he went 52. That was the highest discrepancy from a player I had lower than where the league took the player. So just to kind of reiterate your point about like finding really good value all the way down. All the guys that went in the top 100, I thought were guys that were appropriate to go in the top 100. Every single edge guy I had in my top 100, minus Braden Swinson, actually went in the top 100 in this year's class.
And I love that pick, by the way, Oladejo to the Titans. They needed that edge rusher. I think that's a good play.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right, D-tackles next. Folks, be sure to stick with us. The NBA playoffs are here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. And I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props, from three-pointers to steals to assists. FanDuel has so many different ways for you to bet on your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. And they've got Major League Baseball, hockey, there's football futures bets, a lot of things that you can check out over at FanDuel. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today.
That was so nice of the ad bumper to play the second time through. After I clicked it the first time, it didn't play, and you were a little, you were ready to jump the snap there. So I'm like, we're just gonna roll without the transition on the first block. You never know what StreamYard's gonna give you, you know.
Yeah, the other day it wouldn't put a banner up for me. I'm sitting there like, well, nothing I can do. I've clicked it, and then at the very end of I didn't even click, and then at the end of the read, it popped on. I'm like, all right, cool. We got 5 seconds on there. So.
I got hit with that on the outro one show last week where I finished and I clicked it and it was like loading and like I'm done talking, right? Because I'm just waiting for the outro video to roll.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like I gotta look down. You go back and see I did I click it? I re-click it, it didn't play. I'm like, all right, we're just gonna turn it off. That's it.
I had one last week where I hit the intro at the end instead of the outro. So all of a sudden there's the guitar going like, yep, all right, big high energy end here. Smash the outro. Let's get out of here.
All right, defensive tackles. It's a really interesting group for me, Joe, because we had 4 go in the first round. I had 2 first-round grades. Well,
5, right?
Technically, did we get 5? We did get 5. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I had 2 first-round grades. I had a late one, early 2. And then you had 2 very different players that I had second-round grades on with Walter Nolan, with the penetration, twitch, havoc wreaker in the backfield, and Tylik Williams going to Detroit, who's very much not the things that Walter Nolan is. So as I'm looking at the top of my board for defensive tackles and where they got drafted, I don't see a lot of surplus value. I kind of see, hey, we want to go get a certain kind of body type, and that doesn't make it a bad pick. I want to be fair about this, right? It's just the methodology that I have for how I'm doing surplus value with your picks. I thought some of the better value came in the middle rounds for defensive tackles this year. I don't know if you agree with that, or if you just kind of, as you look at your rankings and where the guys got drafted, you think that's true or not.
Yeah, I came in to this defensive tackle conversation with 3 names. One's a 4th rounder, end of the 4th round. One's a 5th rounder. One's a 6th rounder. So I thought the best value at D tackle was all day 3. You want names?
Yeah, give me those names, because you left a name off for me, which I think is interesting.
All right. Well, I have Josh Farmer to the Patriots, round 4, pick 35. I thought he could have easily went day 2, 35-inch arms, young, 310, versatility to play multiple spots, rock back power in those hands.
Yeah.
Jordan Phillips, round 5, pick 5 to the Dolphins. One of my guys in this draft. He's just a ball of muscle. And I mean, maybe some people think that's appropriate value. He was one of my guys. I had to take him in the 4th. I thought that was good value for Miami. Even after picking Kenneth Grant, I think solidifying that defensive tackle room was probably the thing that I was most concerned about with Miami, and they did that in a big way. And then I go to the 6th round, pick 34, Aeneas Peebles to the Ravens. Just, I don't know that every team's going to be able to maximize him, but the Ravens are really multiple with how they play up front, and I think they can unlock him on long and late downs and give them another dude with Matabuike in the middle there to to rush.
Yeah, so I had Farmer 106 and Jordan Phillips 103, and they went 137 and 143. So yeah, that's surplus value. I had the highest 4 I could give on Farmer. He went in the 4th round, so from the scoring process, there wasn't like a big surplus there for me. But Phillips, I had a 3, and he ended up going in the early 5. So that ended up being one of the really well represented ones in the way that just the math for the pick value chart calculation works. How did you value what the Giants got with Darius Alexander at 65?
I had him as my 61st ranked player on the board with around 2, 3. So it's like perfectly appropriate value. And I love the pick. I think it was exactly the type of guy to add with Dexter, but I thought it was appropriate value.
Okay. Because I had a firm 2 on him. So for him to fall into the 3 and go there at 65, even though it was an early 3rd round pick.
Yeah.
I had a lot of guys in this bucket, I'm going to be honest, that went the round that I had him in, where I had Graham, Grant, Harmon in 1, right? And then I had Nolan and Williams in 2. They went in 1, but then TJ Sanders I had in the 2nd round. And what, you guys traded up for TJ, right?
Yeah, 41, yeah.
He's going to be a pain in the butt. Not thrilled about that at all. It's a great pick, I think.
I'm a fan.
Alfred Collins I had in the 2nd. Omar Norman Lott I had in the 2nd. Darius Alexander I had 2. He went 3. Shamar Turner I had 3. He went 62 in late 2. Jamari Caldwell I had in the 3rd round. And then you're into the 4th round, and it's Ty Robinson I had in the 4. He went 4. Josh Farmer I had in the 4. He went 4. So I think there was a lot of proportionate value here, which makes this a shorter list for me as it's working through kind of surplus guys. But it's Darius Alexander, Jordan Phillips, and then the next highest surplus value for me is Riley Mills, who went to Seattle at 142, who is coming off of an injury, but might be a really nice steal for Seattle.
I think I'll shout out Ty Robinson. I did have a 3 on him, the 68th player on my board, and he went round 4, pick 9. So
he went 111 overall.
That's good value as well. So there's
to the Eagles to replace Milton Williams.
What a great selection. I mean, honestly, great pick.
Linebackers?
Yeah. I only have 1 name, Kyle.
I have 2.
All right, so we're both pretty lean here.
Yeah. Is it Jeffrey Bassa?
Yes, it's Jeffrey Bassa for me.
156 overall to the Chiefs.
Of course, the Chiefs. I had him 102, a 4th round grade for me. There's their Willie Gay replacement.
Right, just a year late.
Yeah, but that's a skill set that they know how to incorporate.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good pick.
That and Danny Stutzman. Stutzman, I had 67th. I had a 3rd round grade on him. He goes to New Orleans at 112. Stutzman and Pete Warner have a chance to be all motor team when it's their turn. If he takes the starting job long term, huh?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about him with New Orleans, right? Like maybe some of the best things about DeMario Davis are somewhat encapsulated in Stutzman, the downhill ability.
Yeah, just the wild man with the hair on fire type vibes.
I had him 112 on my board, so I guess that one was spot on.
Oh, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Good work, Joe Marino. I was surprised to see. I like Nick Martin.
He went early.
I thought for sure he would be like core teams guy early on, a little bit more of a developmental type. But the fact that he went to San Francisco, I'm like, did they see Dre Greenlaw vibes here and say, you know what? We think we can get him there. Let's go get him. Because he went 75. And I thought I was high on him. I had a 4 on him and at 138 on my board. But so I'm not mad at the value by any means. I was just surprised that he got his name called that early.
I guess another value pick that I probably overlooked is Jihad Campbell. He went 31. I had him 10th on my board overall. Like I love Jihad Campbell.
Yep. That's a good call out. Although the medicals, the closer we've gotten, it's not just the shoulder now, right? It's the both of his knees. Apparently, there's some concern, and it's like, oh man, Nick Saban, one last gift of a guy that you just put through the meat grinder.
No, you're not wrong, dude. Especially a linebacker, right? These guys just flame out quick.
Yeah, I think Jihad will be fine, but the fact that there was the medical flags, multiple that existed, it's been reported, kind of leading to that value. But you can't, like, I had him 20 and you get him at 31, like, a great value.
I'm excited to talk corners with you on the other side of this, Kyle. I feel like the way that it played out was real different than maybe I expected. So I have tons of value at corner.
Cool.
We'll get into that and safety here on the other side of it. Be sure to stick with us. Ever check your bank account and wonder where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just another budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. The insights are pretty surprising. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and I save more. The convenience is awesome. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan your goals, and you can collaborate very simply. Managing your money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year.
I'm on pins and needles right now, Joe.
Over?
Trying to figure out what the base value of Emmanuel Ogba's contract is with Jacksonville.
Comp pick bingo here.
He signed on the day of the deadline. It was on the formal wire at the end of the day on Monday, meaning this is an eligible signing for comp picks. I'm just sitting here wondering, did Drew Rosenhaus do us a big solid and push this one through at the midnight hour?
Well, I mean, Dolphins are going to get a 4, right? That's the expectation. So maybe get another 7 or something.
They have Nick Westbrook-Akine, and they also have Iafitu Melifonwu kind of on the bubble. It's like playtime dependent.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you get Ogba and he qualifies, it's going to give you the buffer to guarantee that you get the 4.
Nice. Yeah. I would like for someone to explain to me what the heck this restricted free agent tender is that has now been applied. Whatever it is to Elijah Moore and J.K. Dobbins. I've never heard of this. And I've read about it, and I still don't quite understand what the heck it means. If you don't know, then don't try to answer it.
I think that it hadn't been used in several years, and then it's been used like twice in the last 36 hours.
What is this? So I guess I'll commit some time later today figuring that out.
Yeah. All right. Corners. We're obligated to start with Will Johnson. Are we obligated to start with Will Johnson? Can we start with somebody else?
Yeah, I didn't even write down Will Johnson because it's just medicals, right? Like it's a huge value. He's injured or has injury concerns. And so, yeah, of course it's a plus value. This is what I've got, Kyle. 6 of them. Round 1, pick 20, Jahdae Barron to the Broncos.
Okay.
I think that's great value. He's high on my board. Getting him at 20 makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
How about Trey Amos to the Commanders at round 2, pick 29? That guy went in the first round. Nobody would have thought twice about it. They get him a late second, not early second, late second. Round 3, pick 4, Darian Porter to the Raiders.
Yep.
Thought that was great value. Round 3, pick 12, Savone Revel to the Cowboys. Round 3, pick 20, Jacob Parrish to the Bucs. Those are all players I felt comfortable with in the second round. And then the late round guy, round 6, pick 1, Dorian Strong to the Bills, who I thought was a 3rd or a 4th rounder. He went in the 6th.
Okay, so with my trade value chart methodology, I did not have Jahdae Barron because I had a first-round grade on Jahdae. He went in the first round. So I had Will Johnson, who we acknowledged doesn't exist. The other 5 names are the next 5 names that I have. And then you can also add in Travis Hunter there as my first-ranked player going number 2 from the trade value chart valuation, just how much more valuable the number 1 spot is versus the number 2 spot.
Travis Hunter's going to push the boundaries of football and inspire belief, Kyle.
Stop. We're not doing this. We've got sidebar too many times.
I'm just telling you,
go down this rabbit hole right now.
Inspire belief.
I thought the league drafted this position, I don't want to say chalk because they didn't, but I thought they found a lot of good value. As I'm sitting here looking at where players went, I don't know how many positions this is true for, but the entire class they got drafted at surplus value. When you add up all the net positives and minuses in how I score, the corners, the net is a positive value from top to bottom in this year's class.
That's a unique talking point. I know you're not going to be able to pull it off right now, but I'd be curious to see what normal is.
Well, you keep talking, and I might get you a couple of these position groups that we talked about today.
Let me shout out another name that I overlooked because I had a high grade on Azareye'h Thomas out of Florida State, had a late 1, early 2, 28th overall player on my board, and the Jets get him round 3, pick 9. So that's another one that I definitely should have shouted out. That sweet spot of Amos, Porter, Thomas, Revel, that was like a 15 pick stretch. Those guys all went. I think that's unbelievable value at corner.
Yeah.
We only had 2.5 corners go in the first round.
Edge and corner went surplus value on the defensive side of the football this year,
which would kind of make sense.
Does it though?
It makes sense based on my sniff test that I came in here. I had like 5 guys at each position.
And defensive tackle was the one that we felt was really deep. So I guess maybe that's surprising that with the depth of that class, some of those names still went pretty hot early.
What about, we only had 1 punter drafted, Kyle. Are you surprised by that?
Shut up.
We only have one? We had
2 kickers,
2 kickers,
1 punter, and 1 long snapper. And I know that because I keep track every year of guys that I don't have graded that get drafted.
It's always them. Yeah.
And it's like, well, I sit here and do the math. And if I subtract the 4 specialists that got drafted, my number is even stronger. So,
well, you don't even give yourself a chance. You'd have to scout the.
Yeah, I'm not going to, there's too much volume.
But also, do you really know, this dynamic kicking motion? I don't know enough.
Yeah.
I know I can watch the results. I can look at ball flight of a punt and over time see the control or I don't know, mechanics. Does he do a good job or not?
Right.
His punt's good or not? Does it go through the pipes or not on the field goal?
If the answer is yes, he's doing something right.
Yeah, but then you've even seen some guys college kickers with terrible field goal percentages. They're become good NFL kickers.
Jason Sanders.
Right. The Josh Allen kickers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Here he is.
That was our talking point. This is accuracy issues.
Right.
They both turned out.
I tell you, you can't fix it, man. Just ask Jason Sanders and Josh Allen.
Accuracy issues in college, we got it. Don't worry. You do safety?
Oh, yeah, safety. I was legitimately thinking, wow, are we done? No, safety. I only have 1 name.
Oh, that's not true. You got more than 1 name. But go ahead. Tell me Xavier Watts at 96 to Atlanta.
Yep, there you go.
That was far and away the best value that I had at safety. But I did have a couple other guys that I had top 90 that went in the 4th round. Billy Bowman and Lathan Ransom. Both those guys I thought got drafted at surplus value. And then a little bit later on day 3, I liked the value of Jalen Reed at 187 to Houston. I had a high 4 on him. So that was obviously a couple round value, but a little bit later. So the valuation of it's not as big of a net, plus or minus. And then I had a 5 on RJ Mickens from Clemson, who went 214 to the Chargers as well.
What do you think it was with Watts?
The speed.
It's
a high 4.5 guy.
15 interceptions the last 2 years.
I get it. I think he's going to be a fine player in the post. At Atlanta's draft, and I know we're going to do this tomorrow, but Atlanta's draft as a whole, 2 edge rushers, 2 safeties, because they got Bowman too.
Mm-hmm.
A really interesting collection of talent for them. They go Jalen Walker, James Pierce, Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman, and then Jack Nelson at 218. That's the class. What do you think they were worried about getting done?
It's pretty clear. Well, I will say this. They only met with defensive players at the combine, right?
Yeah.
And then they drafted in the 7th round an offensive tackle. Are we committed to our philosophy or not?
I don't know. I think it's impressive the Jaguars could draft anybody. They had no 30 visits. They had no 30 visits at all.
Or the Rams.
Right? They still found guys to draft. It's pretty good.
A lot of different ways to do it, right?
Ton of different ways to do it. Any final thoughts?
So the Jaguars picked 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 players. How many of them besides Travis Hunter can inspire belief and push the boundaries of
That's
football?
going to do it for us here today on Locked On NFL Scouting. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino. Appreciate you guys as always for checking out the show. We'll be back again tomorrow talking about some big pictures of draft classes, things we liked that teams accomplished, things we maybe didn't, but kind of looking at some big picture classes and what we liked. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino. Talk to y'all again tomorrow.